Good morning, everybody. And first off and foremost, thanks to everybody who subscribed to the channel. I appreciate it. Appreciate it much. We're getting close to that 500K, so anybody that hasn't, you definitely can. I'm gonna get this baby fired up. I'm gonna clean some seed into that thing and keep the drills going, because in the distance, I hear an air drill running. Just got done talking to my dad, and it's actually, turns out I didn't need it to get the whole truck of seed. Let's put some of that back in the bin. We're getting down on our wheat acres left. Full truck, a little bit more, I think we'll be done. So about 600 bushels, and then we'll need a little bit more out of that international, and then the rest will go back in the bin, and then we're switching to barley. But we're gonna head to the farthest piece of the farm. We've got about 20 hours left on the demo, so all the rigs will head over there. They'll finish up the wheat. We'll bring the demo rig back, the 620 quad with the 3725 air cart. And then when that's done, we'll swap out, get our old Series 2, which is hanging out back there. Believe me, he's a little upset still, but I think he'll be happy when he sees it come back in the yard and unhook. So he gets his chance again. And then we'll get going, and then it's seeding barley, which will be pretty fast. I think barley are going quick. And then there's weather coming this weekend, so we gotta get it done. That'd be amazing. All done this week, that would be amazing. No, it's not heading to our farm. Guys are running the machines. I got some water and got a dentist appointment. So I'm gonna jump ship for an hour and a half. Hopefully everything goes smooth. The trucks are all full. I think they'll be okay while I'm gone. Get some numb mouth. Chew on my lip for a bit. What in the world did Nick pick up? Well, he's got herself a nice lovely bag that's torn, and a plywood sheet that I can use for like a sled. Apparently I'm on good behavior. They came to me and said, we'll let you have the quad today. This is my first time driving it, and there's like 20 hours left on it, so there's that. Let's get seeding. You know, it's amazing how much has changed in like 40 years. The Bud that I'm driving, the 600, was built in 1979. The Squad Track, well, 2021. And that Bud that we have goes about 22.3, give or take. This here, the nice, wonderful, beautiful Quad Track that is just so much more comfortable, goes about 23.9 is what I can see right there. So it's about the same speed. The ride is definitely different in this versus the Bud. And what I mean by that is the Bud will start to hop. It gets kind of this motion, and then it starts to bounce a little bit at higher speeds. And it's not bad, but you get a little bit of a hop. Well, this Quad Track doesn't hop. It has no hop to it because there's the tracks. There's no bounce to it. But there's this chatter. So when you hit little bumps, it just chatters. It's just weird. It's different. I mean, it's not bad. It's just different. So there's that. But no, this Quad Track is, it's very nice. Very, very nice. A lot has changed in like 40 years. And for the better. I truly believe for the better. So let's go have some fun with this thing today. Because it's mine. I get it. It's me time, my time. Feels good to be in the driving seat of a brand spanking new machine.
really like about this quad versus the Big Bud is visibility. The Big Bud's got a massive hood in the front, so you have kind of an area up here that's just kind of, well, square and bulky, and you can't see in certain areas. It's not bad, it really isn't. It's pretty good. But the way they got this hood design on this thing is quite a bit nicer. The other thing that's nice too is you don't have the big duals sitting out the side, and you have a lot more visibility around the outside. But actually seeing the duals is kind of fun too, because you're going to see them spin in and turn in. You're like, ooh, ah, a lot of things have changed. And for the better. Now, our Big Bud 600 has the Pro 700 monitor in it. And it's integrated hydraulics thanks to Case IH. They set us up with it. It's awesome. It's wonderful. The new 1200 though is pretty awesome. I like the way they have it set up. I like how simple and easy it is to navigate and do what you need to do. It's got a bunch of features on here that is way above my knowledge, and I'll never understand them all because that's just not my cup of tea, but it's quite a bit nicer. Once I kind of understand the, you know, go here to there, do this, it's pretty simple and easy and awesome. But I also love all the commands right here on this joystick. It's awesome. I love having all these commands here just set, and you can just do everything at a push a button. It makes my life a little easier. Yeah, I could get used to this.
I can't feel it. Is it there?
Now, as of today, we have probably over 800 acres to do of spring wheat. And that will take us, if everything goes well, that'll be about 2 days for us. Because the reason for is we got to move across the interstate and moving equipment, moving trucks, and doing all sorts of things like that takes time. So, yeah, if we can get it done in 2 days, that'd be awesome, and then switch to barley. I asked the Case IH guys one time, why do you guys still have the clutch pedal in this quad track? The transmission's electronic controlled, you really don't need it. And his response to me was, and I love his way of explaining this, okay, imagine if you had a son, and he's in the cab, you're out underneath the toolbar changing a point or fixing something. You know, all of a sudden, little Johnny decides to take his hand and pop it in forward or reverse. Yeah, that's not going to look good for you. So the safety feature is you have to start out by putting the clutch in, putting it in gear, and then easing out on the clutch, and then that way you don't have any damage. That's the best explanation that he had for me, and honestly, that made a lot of sense.
Oh, what is this? People leaving their cylinders all over the place? And random chunks of iron?
Guess what? We got some new merchandise. Look at that shirt. Doesn't that just look good? But we also have hats too. This is a dirty hat. You can't buy that one. It's my special hat. So just saying, you can't have it. But if you're getting cold, get one of these things too. They're comfy. Right away, a couple things happen. Now one, storm's coming. Looks like it's gonna be rained on in a second here, and I just really want to get done with this load before that rain comes. I'm hoping it just spitters a little bit, spatters, nothing really heavy. Hard to say. Second thing, and this is the big issue, my tank's broke. This is the new used tank that fan told us they had, and we bought it, and it looked good. I hit a bump, and this tank wall cracked open, and it spilled out about 400 gallons. Fortunately, it's above the level where it's at now, so I can keep spraying, which I'm doing. I'm just gonna spray out this load as fast as I can. That's why I'm pushing to get it out, so I can get this back. But this brings up the question, what do we do now? Do we put the old tank back on? It's a lot of work to change tanks. That's hours of work. Do we say forget it and go find a nice stainless steel tank and put it on the back? That's expensive. Where do we find one? Is there one in the area? A lot of replumbing, a lot of figuring things out again. We're just not in a position to do all that. So I have a feeling Big Brute's gonna get parked. I'll grab the Apache, and I'll finish the work with the Apache, but we have to get this sprayer going. We need it. Really a bummer. It's really sad to see that tank wall cracked. I'll show you in a second. Whole sidewall of that thing
cracked right out. That's a shame. I've heard these tanks are notorious for cracking, and our last one had a small crack in it. I patched it. It still technically would work, but I don't want to put a patched tank back on this thing. I don't know what to say. We'll figure it out. I gotta drive this back. Well, that's a shame. I'm not gonna pretend that isn't disappointing. But all that work to get a tank and just breaks like that. A weird spot. Normally you don't put straps over the top like that, but I didn't have that strap that tight. It was just lightly over the top just to keep the tank in case it was empty and bounces. I didn't ratchet it hard. I don't know. It's just a weak spot and just bad tanks. But on a blessing note, we have that. Back in the Apache. Not a bad rig, just doesn't have the capacity, speed, or fun factor of driving the Brood. But same size boom. I'm gonna be going a little slower because my nozzle tips are a little different size, but I'm gonna get the job done. And that's what matters in the end of the day, getting the job done. That's it. I am done over here. This is the farthest land from the farm. I've had to come over here a couple different times because this is always where stuff breaks. It's just what happens. This is where Big Brute's tank decided it wanted to crack and break. This sprayer actually is a pretty good sprayer. It's been kicking butt. So now it's ready to seed. Leg Arms is fixing those ditches with the grader. That was gonna be my job. He took it, but that's okay. He likes that grader. Now you gotta do this. So let's get seed done. We're getting close, guys. Barley's just up, and then after that, we're done. Right, so storming. This is the last truck of seed for spring wheat that I'm gonna be treating. I think we figure we need about 300 bushel more. So I can watch the monitor on there as it'll tell me how much I'm treating. Got it running, got it warmed up. There's a little bit left in this hopper, then I'll switch to the next hopper. Then we gotta put some of that back in the bin because we won't use all of it in that truck. I overfilled it, but I didn't really do the math to figure out how many acres we need and how many bushels. And we'll get it, one way or another. Treat time. Taking the Fummins. Poor thing hasn't had a lot of love this season. I don't know why we don't drive it. Got these other pickups we're running around that are breaking down. This thing doesn't break down. It's a good pickup. Ah, there you are. Hello, beauty. It's time to wake up. It's been a short nap. We got acres to do. See that? That is a yellow pea. Look at that. That's exciting. Protein. Lots of protein being grown right there. This tractor is just a slobbering mess. Chew your food, buddy. Man. If you guys knew the struggle of what it takes to keep these engines from not leaking something. They're old, and that is definitely a problem, but they are just prone to leaking. That's just the way these engines are. Reliable, durable, kind of cheap, sort of, not really, but good horsepower. They don't like to keep their fluids inside. They like to come out. This is the transmission cooler. It uses coolant circulated next to transmission oil, and there is coolant all over on top of this. So where's it coming from? Doesn't look like it's coming from the head. Is it coming from the cooler? I don't know, but we better check the coolant level on this thing because it might be getting low. Yeah, I think it's due on coolant. It's not visible in the radiator. So I'll get it started up, we'll get it warmed, and then I'll have to make a trip and go get some coolant. There you are. Hello. Time to wake up. It's go time. All right, I want to touch on something really quick. In a previous video, I made the comment that this is the highest horsepower production tractor on the market. That technically is not correct. There is higher horsepower tractors out there. They're just a different class, but they're higher horsepower. But that's not the point. And to be honest, I don't even want to get on that topic because that's not really an argument I want to make. This tractor's got tons of power. It's got more power than the big bud back there. I know because I can tell if I'm running it this season, it pulls extremely hard. It's an amazing tractor. And the engineers who build these things, who build all these makes and models across the board, you guys put a lot of time and effort and money into making that tractor what it is. And we are very thankful for that. And the last thing I want to do is be the guy that gives the wrong information out there and gets people upset. So, with all that said, I just want to leave it at this. This is a very high horsepower tractor. It's the highest horsepower tractor that Case IH currently makes. There's other tractors out there that are almost, if not equivalent or more, but in a different category than this tractor. But in the bottom line, they're all amazing. They all got tons of power. They get the job done. And I just want to show you guys what it's like to run one of these tractors. Okay, we'll let that warm up. I gotta go pick up the guys. They dropped the trucks off a few miles from here. Let's go road these things. They're gonna seed together in the same field today. That's pretty exciting. Old and new running together. Fun stuff. Let's go. I'm racing dad here in the bud. We are on the second to last field of spring wheat, running out of the hours on the tractor, so after this field we'll have to reevaluate and see, but we might be running it home and swapping rigs out, putting the Series 2 big bud back on this. It's been a good run though. This thing's been a lot of fun. We've knocked out some good acres with it. Check it out, 2,000 acres. That's 2,000 acres this quad and cart's done on Welker Farms. Thanks guys. Thank you. That's really generous of you. Oh snap, got a plug to run. 2, that's somewhere over in this area. I'll turn around here and we'll get out and we'll check it and find out what it is. Probably fertilizer. Looking somewhere in this area, right? There it is, in the back. That one right there. That one. Let's go find out. Wait, no, not that one, it's a clear one. There is no seed in that tube. So that tells me it's not plugged at the bottom, it's plugged at the top. Which means it's probably in the sensor or in the manifold here. Oh, I see it. Those clear tubes are more brittle, but you can see, they're kind of nice. So something plugged in front of us, let's take a look. I don't know why that was plugged, I didn't find anything, but it's clear now, so we can keep going. A little goof there, who knows? I've been watching my monitor here and run number 6, something's going on. I think it's with one of my fertilizer tanks. I think it's the front tank. So something is plugged in one of the meter rollers in this tank in the front, probably fertilizer. But when I get to the end of the field, I'll stop and we'll just open up the gates and get a look, find out. Fertilizer hailstones, pretty much. Yeah, there were 2 or 3 runs. Remember, box monitor doesn't lie. Well, I definitely found a problem, but that's still having issues. And that run 6, we've checked multiple times. I don't know what is causing that one to plug, because it's not. If you go out there, product's going through, there's gotta be something in the hose that we don't see. Well, that looks to me like there's more issues going on than what I think. So I may have to do the second tank and check that one too. I think I just found a big problem. I was switching between the fertilizer tanks, just kind of trying to get an idea of what is going on. I put the seed and it clearly showed a big issue with the seed. So the seed's out of tank, and I just checked the drill, and there's a whole section that hardly any seeds get through, which means we are gonna have a nasty mistake in the fields this year. Ah, it's gonna look great. Can't go over it again, can't seed it again. So let's do some digging. I'm gonna find out which roller. There's something jammed in one of these rollers. We'll get them figured out. That's too bad. I don't know how many acres it's been like that. That's something you gotta keep an eye on. And that's you know, for some reason fertilizer got contaminated into our seed line. Whether it was the conveyor we're using, it might have gotten stuck inside the conveyor and then broke off and went into there, because we use a conveyor for seed and fertilizer. No, we're not going to buy a second conveyor only for seed and one only for fertilizer. You got to use it for both. But yeah, that's too bad. Well, we're going to have a little surprise once the wheat starts coming out of the ground. It's not going to be pretty. That's what I want to see. That's good. Ah, finally. What do you think? New merch on the website. Check it out. Link in the description below. Uh-oh, get a little splatter on the window. Doesn't look like it's gonna do a whole lot, but they are forecasting a little bit of rain today. We'll see. It's low on fuel. It told me that I had 47 gallons left of diesel in this thing. So I went another hour and a half or so at around 12, 13 gallons an hour, which is pretty good, honestly, for fuel burn. So that means I burnt like another 30 gallons. So I don't have a lot left in this tank. So let's go get fuel. I told Dad he had a flat tire in the other drill, so he ran back and grabbed the service truck, also to fix his flat tire. But he brought some fuel. Let's top this thing off. We'll keep going. I've got about 80 acres left of seed in the tank back here. Those scales are amazing on that, because I am able to level out the fertilizer and seed so they empty at the same time. Before it was just a guessing game. Now I can just be like, okay, oh, I've got 5,200 pounds of fertilizer and 6,800 pounds of seed. Well, let's just lower the fertilizer rate and increase this, or not increase, leave the seed rate where it's at. Just lower the fertilizer until it's below what the seed is. Eventually it levels out. And then when they're both even, set them and go. And so they're both seeding the same rate. They're both gonna run out at the same time. That is slick. Beautiful. I guess it's time for the last hurrah, guys. Let's go seed the last few acres out. We didn't get our logo on it. I ran out of magnets because someone took it in Minnesota. All right, let's see the acreage count. 2,248. 2,248 acres. That's what this girl did. Before I take off for the long trip home, got about 10 miles to go. I'm gonna set the stops on these cylinders and just check tires, make sure I'm not running on the rims. Looks good, looks good. Those will just guarantee, so if for some reason the hydraulics sink down, I don't rip apart the county road or the paved road that I'm gonna drive across for a little bit. What a deal, what a deal. That's quite a cart, that's quite a tractor. It's been a good season. That thing really helped. Got some acres done. Now I gotta swap over to the other tractor and do some barley. Yeah, barley. First time ever in my lifetime planting barley. Never done it before. Well, tomorrow. Fill it up with fuel, top the def off, give her a wash, unhook the drill, and park it. I don't know where it's going next. Hard to say. Marketing tractor. Case IH has plans for you. It's sure been a pleasure to run you.